My goodness. Happy, happy. Oh, okay.
Hello. Hi.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Oh my
I
God.
just got some pumpkins
You did
at a pumpkin auction.
a pumpkin auction?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
it means you get a bunch of pumpkins for cheap.
Well, I know how you love your Halloween. So,
I know. I'm
yeah.
so excited. I think some of them I'm gonna paint and like do stuff with them and sell them. I'm
Mm,
like very excited right now. But
wow.
I have big plans.
I love it. All right.
All
Well,
right, I'll mute myself now.
that's okay. So, it's still September. I was like, wait, it is. It's still September. Yeah. Okay. So, my gosh, the world is still turning on. That's what I have to say. And as the world turns on, we have to say that there are mighty events that came into play, that came into my knowledge and awareness. So I want to make sure we are all taking time and space to leave room for our own expansion and to see beyond the colors that are right in front of us, to be able to recognize the deeper things that are at play in our families, our friends, our jobs, our careers, in society, communities, governments, and the collective at large. Overall, this message is a healing, but it is also an awareness for each of you to understand the steps that are being taken right now in all sincerity for safety and security above all else. And so, what we would encourage for everyone is as things evolve, as the steps continue to progress, know that you will continue to be all right. That no matter what it is that is foreseen or that is coming or that is on the doorstep, that when you take the time to show up, when you take the time to make sure that you're prioritizing yourself. And what I mean is taking the time to ensure that you are at a state of balance, that you are at a state of fulfillment, that you are following your own inner guidance system to its fullest so that you are energetically balanced and aware to go and be and do wherever you need to go and be and do. Because over time, I will be doing the same thing more and more. Um, it is a matter of at every single second in time, are you doing the thing that makes the most sense for this idea of space time continuum? Because some of the things that we look at, when you look at any particular scenario, you will see that there are choices, right? How it is that you respond to any given scenario will always be your highest energetic frequency that you can achieve at that particular point in time. And it means that no matter where you are, no matter what you are doing, if you are in the middle of saying something, if there is something that you feel like you need to do, what I was just doing was strengthening my channel to ensure that the message was even more clear. And so, what it means is that no matter what you're doing, as time unfolds over the next year, it will be important that you continue to be in the highest frequency possible. The more that you follow your inner guidance system, the better that you're going to be in alignment with the full circle of all that needs to happen. And what needs to happen will continue to be first and foremost your safety. But sometimes taking the time to meditate, to reconnect, to reestablish your core frequency, to reestablish that you know where your inner guidance is coming from. That is essentially what I did, right? To ensure that as this message is coming through, as this message is channeling through, that I am providing the message from the highest source of potentiality. Because this is simply an energy of being aware of the energies that have been out there, the shifts in the weather, if you will, and to understand that new doors were opened. And sometimes a door that opens can look like something that is a lesser potentiality, but that only depends on how you look at any given situation. You can choose to look at any given situation and see that as a sorrowful experience or a painful experience, or you can choose to say, I know that I am being guided and cared for because I take the time every day to care for myself to ensure that I am in the highest alignment possible. Therefore, this can be a wonderful experience, right? It can be that you saw something happen and it appeared to be that the world was falling apart. What that may actually be is old systems in their entirety being brought to their knees so that new systems can emerge. It is the ultimate letting go of your belief system that will be needed over the course of the next year. It's simply to come into an understanding of letting go of anything that you look at being anything other than a potential jumping point. Because when you ask for things to be transmuted, a lot of times that means taking things out for new things to come in their place. And what I'm getting here is a more direct channeled message where I would normally share stories. So if there are any questions that come up or that come up along the way, please let me know. But what I want to say is they want to be clear that your goal, your mission, your energetic statement within yourself must be that I am happy, I am well, and I am safe. And that is the circumstances that you want to be in every step along the journey. So, whatever it is that you are doing, whatever it is that is coming up in your particular reality, that you take the time so that you have the ability to show up in a very honored, centered, aware space. This message is let go of the friends that no longer feel good to you. Let go of the need to interact with family members that no longer feel good to you. Let go of the need to feel like something is bad or good or otherwise, or that something that's happening is anything other than a divine design to show others the choice that they have to make. Because the choice that you have already made by showing up is to say, I choose to be in an energetic state of awareness, of safety, and if needed, of seclusion. That no matter what it is that's going on, if I have an internal clock that says sleep, if I have an internal clock that says stay home today, then I will. It is ultimately following that inner guidance system and knowing that as the messages are more important, that you will get the message in a more profound, direct way. And they're reminding me that I have always been able to, when needed, to receive the messages that I needed to in order to move myself in a better direction and to keep myself safe. What they want you to know is that you have the same capacity now as well. What this healing is about is releasing your inner blocks to your own inner divine guidance system. To be able to welcome in the receiving information of the love of the source, of the love of myself, right? To be able to recognize the difference that when you are lounging about and suddenly there is a message that says, now. I need you to get up, I need you to move, and I need you to do it now. That means that you follow that inner guidance system. And it may be that direct, and it probably will be if there is ever any situation that required it. Know that as long as you're following that path and that you are following that inner guidance, you're going to be okay. I have had that message twice in in my life, and both times were very weird. And I was like, oh, okay. There were other lesser times, but the very direct times, I followed it. In hindsight, I understand why now. And it always has to do with keeping yourself on the highest projection possible. And it doesn't matter if you understand the why of it at the particular time. What you want to understand is that if you don't receive that message, all it really means is that you're doing all right and to continue to maintain your frequency of light within yourself. Um, I actually had for the last week or so, I actually just made some adjustments today in order to assimilate the frequencies that were coming in and to be able to digest that. I was eating more raw food as well as um, wearing lighter colors. So I was wearing a white tank top instead of a gray or a dark or off black one, and I was wearing white socks and my white sweatshorts. So, um, your guidance may not be as friendly as that. But what I will say is the more that you take the time to assimilate the frequencies that are coming in right now, the better your life will be. When you're willing to do whatever you need to do in order to continue the path that you're on. One of the things that has been coming through very strongly for me was a need to eat in a different way. And it meant some of the things that I had kind of let stay, letting go of them. One of them was using on occasion um, the ginger, and it wasn't the garlic, it was the ginger that I had in my refrigerator if I would make a dressing. Um, and they shared with me very directly that I should always be using real ginger and not the squeezed ginger, which I find just rather economical and extremely safe. And it wasn't. And when I read the ingredients, and I think it's because I had read them on the garlic, which was actually fine, and the ginger had glycerin in it. Apparently not something I should be ingesting. And so once that they had me go on a raw food. I had been eating salad for about 4 days, which I actually find incredibly wonderful. Um, because I include strawberries and nuts and dried cherries and then a homemade lemon vinaigrette, which didn't have the ginger in it. And then they allowed me to make the dressing with the ginger, and I sure did feel that one. And it was a very, 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 um, not the same reaction I was having before. It was a very minute reaction. I was like, oh. So here's what I'm, when they're allowing me to share this story, is this is the energy of fine tuning. And what it really means is paying attention to your body and and to the lessons and to the stuff and the things that are coming up for you. And it's recognizing when you have an inner guidance to follow it. Even if you already felt like you were following a guidance, to follow your inner guidance system. And sometimes, this is the message that I want me to share. Okay. That you could have been guided to do something, and you may have been guided to do something simply to show you how that path felt, right? I'm in love with this ginger dressing. I am happy to keep fresh ginger in my fridge. I actually usually do. I went to make it today, and so once I did that, I poured it down the drain, and then I went to make more dressing for my wraps, and I realized that I didn't have any ginger at all now that I had done that as well, other than the squeezed ginger. So I made a tahini dressing instead. And I share this. Tahini isn't my favorite. However, it is also white as opposed to the ginger sesame oil dressing that I'd been making, which is rather dark. I did find that interesting. But the main thing to understand here is that lesson in the minute way that I had it this day is when you understand something, when you feel the frequency difference, it can sometimes be showing you something so that you can clearly understand what a particular ingredient was, right? So it isn't ginger itself, it is how some ginger is preserved. So, preservatives in and of themselves, so tend things tend to be okay. It's when they're preserved that it was unnatural for my body and it was coming up in my gums, actually, if you want to know the weirdness of it. And so it's simply to know that it may be a minor variation, but if you're feeling good all the time, it is showing you what something is. And it's mainly so that I know so I can make a better choice. Because when I know that something is present that isn't working in my favor, I will instinctively let it go. What I also learned is that if you've been doing it for so long, you sort of build up a tolerance to it, right? Like this dressing had become an absolute staple, and I would continue to put it on my wrap because it was the most fantastic stuff. However, on my salad, I tend to make a honey lemon vinaigrette, is what I've been doing recently. And so I did that. And when I had done that for several days, then I was urged to try the wrap again. And when I did, I noticed the variation and it allowed me to pinpoint what exactly it was. So they share this mainly because it is always up to you to decide and to feel into what feels good and what feels not. So we want you to acknowledge anything in your body, in your energy body, that feels dissonant to you. Because when you can pinpoint it in your body, then you can say, I release you now. Okay. They were working on your ginger stuff too. Okay. It's a pretty common thing, I think. So we allow ourselves to recognize the state that we're in, to recognize the energetic empowerment that we're in, and to be able to recognize sometimes too when things feel like and when they're coming up, it's because it is the recognizing of things coming to the surface so you can let them go. The main role here of anything like this is to show you that if you take the time to feel into your body, to feel into how something feels, rather than just following the status quo, right? This is a dressing not that I bought from the store, but that I was making myself. It had apple cider vinegar, all sorts of wonderful things in it that made it absolutely lovely. I can still make it. I just need to make it with fresh ginger, which really is also not that complicated. I find it easy to grate ginger as opposed to chop it and put it in there. It's fine. So I will do that. That's not a problem. It's just a matter of understanding the refinement. Because at one point, I had been at that stage of refinement, and then I think it went back somehow, and I don't know if it was when I didn't have gender or whatever, it didn't matter. Um, or that it was just in the refrigerator and an easy step for wanting something to go more quickly. It isn't necessarily worth it. So recognize what your body is telling you. It's telling you all of these stories, and it's doing so, yes, through what you eat and what you drink, but also through what you say, what you speak, what you think, how it is that you go about your day, where it is that you enter into. When you set your intention to be in a wonderful energetic set point, then you're going to notice a difference, and you can tell where may not be a place that you want to frequent quite so often. Okay. The main other part they want to talk about here is the offshoots. So, what we've been focusing on is how to find the highest path forward, the highest frequency. And it really is following one step so you can complete that, so that you can move on to the next one to find greater and greater energetic set points, frequencies, and guidance within yourself. Recognize that there are offshoots where you're not doing that, to acknowledge that and to let them go, and to take time to then say, okay, I may have been just eating my food without feeling into it, without feeling into, does this feel like the highest potential? And then going back and revisiting it. There will be other offshoots as well. There will be people and places and things and events. And it's up to you to just allow them to fade away, to allow all of those energetic circumstances to fall from your life, to recognize that there was a fork in the road. The fork is still present, but the ability to line up to the higher points is getting more limited as the divide gets larger. So, what we're going to be experiencing over the course of the next while, I don't necessarily want to particularly put a date on it because it's already happening now, and you're going to continue to see it. But recognize that those are the people who weren't following their highest guidance system. And it goes into corporations and governments and societies and in general countries, right? And so when you can just recognize that that is what it is and choose to say, I recognize it, I definitely recognize the dissonant energy, I just choose a higher path. That is really what this transmission is all about, is recognizing that there was a choice point. And when you chose to show up every week, when you chose within yourself to find that higher frequency and that higher reality, then you chose to make the leap each time. And it doesn't mean that it was necessarily easy. What it meant is things were coming up at a much greater clip for you to acknowledge and be able to transmute and make a different choice about. So, in order to continue, it is inspired to stay on the higher potential path. You can recognize the difference in the energies that are out there that are dissonant, and that is okay. But to choose yourself to do whatever it is that you need to do to stay in the higher frequency timeline. Okay. The message that she just got is we're supposed to fill an hour. If that was the message, do I pull cards now? And the message that she received that she was laughing about is you can allow them to ask questions, you can allow them to share, but there is no time requirement. You don't have to give that to yourself. And the energy frequencies that they needed to receive were done. So, what they're asking me to do, and that one has been coming up for a while, is to be more relaxed in general and in any sort of pattern and behavior and everything else. I will share as well, when I was asking just in general, as far as my potentiality and what else I could do, and letting go of the belief systems and things like that, what else was out there that I was holding on to. And it was very clearly said that it's my hair. And I am dyeing my hair with henna and indigo now. It's actually completely safe. My hair actually loves it. But in terms of belief systems, in terms of all of it, right? It is still altering who I am to a certain degree. Now, I have been doing some version of this since I was like, I don't know, 16, 18, something like that. So there's also like just a lot going on there. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. It isn't necessarily one that they've said I needed to do, but that they said that I was okay with letting go of painting my nails and parting my hair down the middle and wearing different clothes and all sorts of different and changing my shampoo and all of that. The hair color, I was okay with transmuting how I was doing it, so it's completely safe. And I share this because I actually did this yesterday. So anyway, just in all honesty, I would say it may be something that she stays with because it's actually one of the more healthy habits for her hair. But in terms of when she asked the question, it was directly related to from your personality, authenticity. That's the only part that really isn't other than the eyebrow situation. But that is what it is. Not much more I can do about that. Okay. And that was basically tattooing on my own eyebrows was my intention. Okay. Do you guys have questions about this? Do you feel this alignment um, in a greater way today? I would be interesting to know if you did. Okay, they said I can pull cards now. That was an interesting one. Um, so there you go. Is, and Jessica isn't here with us today, but if there is anything, let me know. Okay, 4 cards. Oh, hmm. The Queen of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Five of Swords. Oh boy. Okay. So the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands. And it is recognizing the situation of the world, the energies of stability needed, and a choice to be made to move forward. But in general, this message is that we have spoken things into play that are currently playing out. And it is the energetic movement of how people have been working together and a need for greater energies, souls, components to be pulled out to be able to come into a greater sense of triumph of the world overall. The in situation, the Five of Swords, as I read it, is one person is triumphant over another. So they're sharing this because this message was done in a private form, in a channeled form that isn't um, really shared publicly, or a tarot reading like that, something that is just on my tarot channel. So it's really understanding that there were things put into play that if you look at them may have, and I think that's why they chose the Five of Swords card, may appear on the outside to look as though the world is falling. But at the end of the day, it is actually allowing for a greater transformation of all that is. So the main thing to remember is that the frequency that you're in determines the path and how much we're able to help you and keep you safe. So the more that you are able to take time to do things like meditate, to take a shower every day. I did do that. But to remember that those things are important. To care for yourself, to care for your energetic frequency is of the utmost importance. When you keep yourself at a higher frequency, you're anchoring that frequency into the earth. And you are allowing others to see the potentiality of lining up with a higher sequence. Because there are many that are experiencing a different reality, and that's okay. And when you can just recognize it and let it fall away, no matter who or what they are, then your ability to rise above and to continue to be in that Five of Swords energy, which I really would, with my cards, read kind of as the triumphant card. But it's really showing that these other people have put down their swords, right? And there's just one left going like, okay, I think they're done now. So there will be times that have been foretold for centuries that are coming to play, that are coming to play now. And we simply use this transmission because it was the message that I had been receiving for the last few days, that they wanted to make sure that you were aware of. And so that as I'm sharing this, I can share other transmissions as well. But it is also an energy of upliftment and connection that when I am at a higher state of connection, that you have the ability to line up with more easily, because it's the same way that you can do for yourself and for others. When you lay the path, right, when the path is already laid out for you, it is easier to line up with, right? It is easier to line up with the way that you think, the way that you speak, the way that you behave, the way that you move throughout your life, when you can see someone who's moving in that way and learn from them, right? And when you already have the lessons, it's simply a matter of just energetically being in their presence and lining up with that and letting go of your old behaviors. And when you don't, it's a matter of just allowing others to learn through your example. But know that that is a choice. Whether or not you choose to allow someone to learn through you, or you just go about living your life in a wonderful way, whether or not you choose to be that sort of mirror to people, is what we were encouraging you to evaluate today. That does it still make sense to you to be in that room of people, or when you're in that room, do you be like, I think I'd rather be in my own room, right? And so recognize that within yourself and allow everything to work out for you, because it will if you simply prioritize your health, your well being, the love of yourself, the care that you need, doing whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. If it's like, yeah, I kind of felt like I needed to do that, but I didn't. Don't allow that to be the story. If it's that you felt like you needed to do that, then do it. However wild it may seem, letting go of your belief systems about how it is that you need to spend your time, about birthdays, about holidays, about sequences, about time, about money, about space, all of those sorts of things, the more that you let go of them and how you were programmed, all the energy that you learned, everything that you learned throughout your life, and just say, what actually feels good? Was I just doing this to do it? Or does it actually feel good to do? All right. Do you guys have anything you want to share? It can be about pumpkins or a question. Maria, do you have a question? Oh, what? Which one of you was
My,
that? Oh, there you are.
that was me. Is Maria talking? I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Do you have
Okay,
headphones on?
I do because I was able to be more mobile this way. Except I was called to be I was called to be hands free, and I went with it. And I don't even
Love
know
it.
why I turned my video on right now because, okay,
It's
what I want to
really
say, I'm going to get
so you're
it is.
outside and on your headset.
And I'm just, who am I right now? I don't know. But I don't mind it because this is what I'm doing. How do I say this? I've been just like not doing normal things that are so much like Nicole, right? Like just instead of cleaning all day, I've been thinking about my face a little bit. And and like also though like different ways I can make money and not because like money or material things are an issue, but it's just about like having like support of myself, you know? So my point is this, I don't really know what my point is, except for I was just excited to say hello and that I was outside and in a good mood because the message that I've been getting is kind of just like what you said, just do what makes you feel good in that moment. And if you don't feel alarmed, don't make yourself feel alarmed just for the sake of it.
That's so true. And if there is one that you feel, let go of it,
Right, right.
right?
And it's been working a lot better for me because I used to tend to worry about things a lot. And then it was just like, you know, don't manifest that for yourself, right? Like don't worry about it. And that we'll see that
There you go. The
is a big
words
one.
we'll just take those out. Thanks.
I literally just choked on nothing. So yeah, it's that. And I did want to ask a question because this is interesting to me. I've always really been into my natal chart, but like I feel like I've been going through it and dissecting things and layers that like could be said about who I am as a person and kind of just like releasing any resistance I have into like what my potential could be and also releasing that grip on like the shadow of it all, right? Does that make sense? I think I probably should stop doing it as much as I've been doing, but I just wanted to see how you thought about that.
Well, I will say that as you were saying that,
Mhm.
feel this in my face. The message is the way you were doing it makes it sound okay, but it's not. Ooh.
Okay.
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 Because what you're doing is going back, kind of like in our session. Dude, was that this week? It's Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes. It is this, honey. Don't go back and reactivate the parts that we already took out.
Yeah.
Because what you were doing is good work for someone who hadn't already been doing the work you've been doing,
Yeah. Right.
right? So like if you would have been doing that a year ago, it would have been fine. Now, it's the same thing as going back and looking at the pictures.
I,
It's
yeah.
letting go of those things because when you looked at it, you were seeing who you used to be and being like, okay, I'm getting rid of that. The thing is, though, you already had.
Mm,
So,
mhm.
astrology is good to a certain degree. If you believe that humans have it all figured out, we're here to tell you that ain't the case. There are certain aspects that are true that I think we've all seen. However, to see all the things that are at play, especially when you get into the level of play that we're doing at this point, it
Yeah.
ain't even a drop in the bucket. And I find it interesting because I know a bit about astrology, but it's like one of the things that I mean, I followed the Leo King and stuff like that religiously for a while, but I never dove into it like I did some of the other things. And the reason, and but what I did receive, the guidance that I had been given is that the astrology is there to show you things. To be fair, it's not meant to be there forever. It's meant to show you what you came in to do and to show you what might be coming up. But when you can get ahead of it, when you can say, I recognize these things within myself and I choose to transmute them, I don't need a chart. I just recognize them within myself. And I don't choose to go back and recreate them when I have already changed myself entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because the way I feel about it is some things I read and I'm just like, wow, that's great. That is a what that's phenomenal. It looks so nice to read and it feels good. And then other things I'm just like, oh no. And right, it doesn't serve me. It's like I do remember that and I see where that's actually come up and it makes sense, but to not bring it on. And I think I did it because I wanted to see what was true. Like, what is it? Like, because I've always liked astrology a lot. So I kind of went back to do it as more of a test thing, like, um, what has happened. But I totally see your point, and I don't want to do that. However, I will say this. It doesn't mean that I cannot use it as a tool to understand other people that might come into my sphere, right? How do you feel about that?
Nicole, I want you to know that I had both of these messages for you this week already. They were very subtle, but one of them was just let go of needing to reactivate anything. The second one is, honey, your spidey senses are already turned on. To
Right.
recognize that your intuition is so much higher now. You
Yeah.
don't need to look up someone's natal chart. All you need to do is say, hmm, and you're going to know how you feel about them and your relationship and whether or not you should befriend them or run and hide. You don't need a chart. All you need is yourself. I want you to go back to that time where I think it was about Maria's question about Reiki, the school of you, sweetheart. If
Oh
there's
yeah.
training, right? You have already completed most of it, right? And it's only getting stronger. The stuff that you've been able to just say, for example, I shared a gender thing, or no, I shared something with Nicole this week, and she's like, oh, the gender. And I hadn't said anything about gender yet. It was a theme. Anyway, but she knew, right? And that's what I'm talking about. It is when you already know, when you can follow your inner guidance system, why would you trust what somebody else chose to write in a program over what you know to be true?
Amen. Amen. Hmm. All right. So I won't ask anyone their time of birth when I meet them. Okay.
I'm gonna say this, like, do you think that that could give you anything more than your inner guidance system? Really? It would be
No.
funny, it might be fun, but as far as trust, I want you to recognize your trust in yourself.
Okay. I'm with that. I think I did it as like a comparison, like this is how I feel, this is what I know, and to test it. And you know what? You're right. So, but there's got to be a point where it's like, okay, you tested it now, like move on and just like be you. So, okay, I got it. I'm
You
glad we
you
talked about
you
this.
did ask. This was a
Yeah.
really, really good one. And you asked me, so that makes it even more fun. Um, because that's the whole gist of it, right? Like the fun of it is when you create your own system. How I really, really transformed myself was when I channeled my own healing system. When I channeled what the tarot cards meant, not just read them in a book, right? So that it made sense energetically. They're saying not even just for me, like as a karmic what's going on in earth, everything that it made sense in a way that I was like, "Oh, life makes sense now," right? And so there are parts of things that made sense in other people's stuff, but rather than it's basically, are you going to trust what someone else wrote, what someone else learned? Are you going to trust their intelligence? Or can you learn to trust your own? Ooh, that's the whole message. That was actually the message of today, Nicole. That was a very good follow up. I love it.
Yay. See, that proves it then. Okay. All right. Trust is here.
Well, that was, right? It was the entire message. It wasn't we wouldn't even have entertained that. Why who are you gonna for stuff like that? It's really just trust you, and the more that you take the time to center you, to be at an energetic state of awareness, of centeredness within yourself, that you know that you are connected to the ultimate light source, right? That you are going to have a greater sense of understanding And it's gonna work also like all the time, as opposed to um needing to use any other sort of resource. Like, this is what it is that you've always wanted, sweetheart. It's recognizing that, like, oh, that's true. That's what you wanted, is to reach that point, recognize that it's here and it's getting greater and greater.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Love it. All right. Are there any other questions or things out there? Oh, okay. The what we will say is that that was a really good alignment too. So be proud of that and what it is that you said, even the questions that you were guided to ask, and recognizing how all of those things fall into play, right? Because it was the perfect example, recognizing that this is what we were designed to do. That when you take out all of those layers of just programming, of what it is that we learned from the instant we were born, through all the things that we experienced in school and childhood and adolescence and our adult life, in religion and society and politics and all of it, that when you just take the time to let go of all of those things and leave room for receiving your own inner guidance, you may find things to be at a completely different place. Right? Like, I'm still eating today's salad, also included eating with my hands. I actually really enjoy eating salad with my hands. I'm gonna be mindful of manifesting this, but I wouldn't be surprised if I ordered a salad at the airport or something and then ate it with my hands in front of people without noticing at this point. Not it's that it's even that weird, but does that make sense? Um, it probably depends on what country you're in, is true. But in general, it's like I don't really care. What I care about is, are my hands clean? Is this safe? Whatever, right? And generally, just going with the path of least resistance. In the airport's probably not the best example because I really wouldn't care. It'd be more like at a work like lunch or something, right? So recognize those things, recognize what you're doing. And I shared the one um, that I'm still doing. There may be other minute ones just about my life, but in general, as far as like personality and things that I was willing to let go of, that's really the one um that I really, really appreciate. So there's that. Um, so the at the end of the day, the message here will continue to be the same until everybody has embodied that lesson. And it gets deeper and wider as well. So and I'm doing pretty well with this, they want to say. And in general, it's like just it's when I'm asked to do something that seems maybe in the moment not to make the most sense, and when I see later on that it kind of did, then it's interesting because I receive a lot of guidance. So, for example, I was mixing my hair henna last night, and she said just do 2 tablespoons, and it's really supposed to be like 4 times that, and I did, and then it started to like spill over the edge, and she said, well, that's why we had you do just 2, so that it was safe, and now like do it a slightly different way or whatever, right? It's like when you take the time to follow all of the instructions. So for me, that one, it didn't make sense in the moment really, but I went with it, and then I was able, right? I was able to fix it. We're adding, you can always add more. That's pretty easy. Um, so it's really that fine tuning of like, oh, and recognizing that sometimes it is an alignment for you to be in an alignment for something else. The more that you follow each individual aspect, the more that you're ready to be in alignment with the next message, right? Like when um when I had accepted the stevia message and we had worked through that one, then I was ready to work through the what was going on with the ginger message. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? So, those are two that I have found just in general that my body would prefer. The ginger is okay. It's like this stuff with it is, I believe, so far to be true. It's true. Okay. They told me that I need to trust that it wasn't ever the ginger specifically, it was ginger in a bottle. So anyway, there you go. So it will likely be as well that as you continue to refine your journey, the other thing I will say, because we still have a little bit of time, and this is true for pretty much everyone, and it is a need for your body to be in alignment too. So when you're doing this very deep intrinsic energy work and activations, that having your body be in alignment with that is going to feel a lot safer, a lot lighter, a lot better, a lot freer. And so I'm on a current, has been 2 a day yoga practice right now. Um, it's basically sun salutations and then a kriya, because having my body be in that energetic state of flow that my mind and my energy is important as well. So know that all of those components, the way that you speak, the way that you think, the way that you breathe, the way that you act, the things that you do, the way that you move your body, is going to be more and more important as the work goes along. Everything fits together. You can't do one piece and think that it's all going to work out. It is all the pieces that fit together in order for you to have the best adventure, right? You don't have to do it that way. I just recognized that there was 2 5s there too. And so it's for the greatest change, that you embody the energies as well as acting them out. And so doing simple stretches is a good way to start. Doing Uppa Yoga, doing sun salutations, those sorts of things, getting yourself into an energetic state of energy flow within your body, as well as the energy work that you're doing within yourself, and being mindful of everything that you do, because your thoughts and your words, they create the atmosphere around you to be able to line up with higher potential messages that you're receiving from your own soul system, from your guides as well. It can be that as well. And so recognize that the more that you have all of those pieces in alignment, the better you're going to feel, and the better you're going to be able to follow your own inner guidance system. I will say, the energy work, hands down, for me, was the most powerful part. Um, I added in yoga along the way, and it has been kind of a catch up, to be honest. Because I want to feel absolutely wonderful in my skin all the time, right? So I'm mindful of what I put on my hair, what I put on my skin, what I put in my body, what I drink, what I eat, and also how I move my body, because I want everything to be in an energetic symbiotic flow. And so I would encourage you to do the same thing as well, because when all of those pieces are at flow is where you're going to find the greatest energetic state that you want to be in. So today's energy was about releasing blocks to receiving messages. So be open to that over the course of the next fortnight, to being more receptive and to receiving more downloads and more guidance, and just being open to doing whatever you need to do, right? And it could be, no, coffee's really not the best choice. Maybe choose a different beverage. right? And when you line up with that one, go ahead, Maria.
I think that one was for me.
Uh-huh. There you go.
And I'm trying. I've been working on that. And I do have a question. So my boss gave his 2 week notice. So he's gonna leave the last of this month and he's divine. So now, the team is like, okay, are we gonna continue with this project? Are we getting somebody like him? So it's been today was a little off. It was pretty go, go, go. And then once he walked in, closed the door, and said, by the way, it was like, oh, um, I'm we're trying to stay positive, but I do have that question.
That's fantastic, Maria. And it's the exact same thing the same way, right? That message was in there today. And it's don't assume that something that looks to be bad is bad, right? Believe that things are working out for you. I think I've shared a couple stories and I was getting this. Now I realize it's for you in the last couple weeks or in the last week, probably. And there were a couple things in my life. I remember, I think I shared this story. I had ordered on my work points a set of the Le Creuset, is that how you say it? Pans. And I thought they were perfect. I thought it was the exact set that I wanted. And I had been waiting for them to arrive. And then I realized that, like, they had emailed me that they weren't coming. And I thought that was odd. But when I went in to be like, okay, well, what else do they have? I had gotten more points and they had another set that had even more pans in it that I didn't even know that I wanted. And so I would just say, don't do anything other. Don't assume that it's bad. Assume that things are working out in your favor and that you can have a boss that was even better than the one you had before. I had that happen recently. It's all about letting go of your expectations that no one could fill those shoes. They're the best boss I've ever had. Believe that there's a better one out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, I love it. Is there anything else out there? Okay.
I went and cleaned my car and it looks so detailed inside. I'm very sweaty and everything. I couldn't get in the shower, but as soon as we're done, I am gonna go take a shower. But at least my car is like so nice inside. It sure needed love.
Okay, that makes sense. So, yes, please take a shower. And that's good to do after this and just allow yourself to release anything that was out there that you didn't want, that you didn't need, and to welcome in a new energetic frequency. The shower is a very powerful process and thing that you can do. Whoa. Okay. Whew. So, yeah. Um, that was clearing out this stuff in everyone's aura as well. So that's what I take that time to do among other things in the shower, and I find it to be absolutely wonderful. So when you're doing this work as well, doing showering at least once, if not twice or three times a day, is a good idea. It almost always will help you feel better.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hmm.
I actually wanted to say that. Like I thought about I was taking a shower earlier today and I need a number two because it was an intense day. But I was like, I want to share with everyone how wonderful I feel now that I'm in the shower because you just don't know what it feels like. You think about it like, I don't want to take a shower right now. Like I don't get to it. That's me talking. So then I get in and I'm like, what have I been waiting for? Why
Every
was I
time,
holding
right? Every
every
single time.
time?
Every
It's so
single time.
shocking. I know.
Isn't it? It's one of the weirder things. I would
Yeah,
agree 100%. It's like, this makes me feel better every single time. I smell better, I look better, I feel better. Why did I not want to do that?
I know. And I had that thought, and I was just like, so I wanted to remind myself and all of you, just get in the shower because you're gonna thank yourself later. Like, and that's it. It's
They're
hard.
telling me it's elements of time, and when you release yourself from the time that it takes, because it
Uh,
does, it takes some time to do that, and then after showering, like at least I cover myself in sesame oil and face cream and then, brush my hair and so there's a shower and then there's an after routine, right? And so when you let go of the time aspect and just remember exactly what you said, showers are divine every single time, right? Like always a good choice.
amen. So more showers, everyone. That's what we've come to.
Mhm. It is. It's one of the things that I've noticed it repeatedly that like showers are divine.
They are they're a portal to the divine, actually. That's what
I
I think.
yeah,
That's where I'm going with that. Yep.
and they certainly can be. They certainly can be.
Our
And you're
next
working with
session.
elements also, right? So you're working with the elements of water, right, as well as the elements of earth. And I have a crystal that usually sit. I'm not sure if it's there. I might need to rethink that. That usually sits on my shower as well, right? So it's like when you're able to work with the elements in the shower as well and enjoy whatever portals might be there, they're fantastic. I agree. All right. Well, allow yourself some time to process and come into alignment with this one because it was a big shift. So, all right. Thank you all. I love you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Bye.
Bye.